Welcome to GrimFace, where we strip away the lies, crush the illusions, and speak the unvarnished truth. This is not a place for the faint-hearted or the weak-willed. This is a battlefield, and we're here to arm you with the tools, the mindset, and the unshakable discipline to conquer it. In today's video, we dive deep into the lessons that the wealthy don't advertise, and the world doesn't want you to know. Forget the flashy cars, the overpriced mansions, and the shallow markers of success. True power is invisible. True wealth is silent. And the path to financial freedom is not glamorous. It's ruthless. In this episode, we'll tear apart societal expectations and rebuild your understanding of what it takes to rise above. You'll learn the discipline of living below your means, why wealth is built over time, not overnight, the ruthless allocation of time, energy, and money. These are not platitudes. These are strategies. These are weapons for those willing to fight, sacrifice, and endure. This is the unfiltered truth about how empires are built and how freedom is won. So, if you're ready to discard the illusions, embrace the grind, and walk the path of the truly powerful, then stay with us. Because this is GrimFace, and we're not here to make you feel good. We're here to make you unstoppable. Lesson 1. The discipline of living below your means. There's a truth they don't want you to see. A truth buried under the weight of advertisements, social media, and a culture of excess. They tell you that wealth is about shiny cars, designer clothes, and extravagant vacations. They whisper in your ear that to be rich, you must look rich. But let me tell you, those whispers are lies, and those lies are chains. Chains that bind you to a cycle of spending, of consuming, of emptying your pockets, in exchange for fleeting validation. Do you want to know what real wealth looks like? It looks like discipline. It looks like restraint. It looks like a quiet, unassuming life that doesn't shout for attention because it doesn't need to. Most millionaires don't wear their wealth on their sleeve. They don't flaunt it in Instagram posts or park it in their driveway for the neighbors to envy. No, they walk among you unnoticed, invisible. They've mastered a secret that most people ignore. Wealth is not about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep and how much you grow. Let's talk about the enemy you face every day. Lifestyle inflation. It's insidious, creeping in as your income rises. You get a raise, and suddenly your car isn't good enough anymore. Your apartment feels too small. You deserve more, right? That's what they tell you. You've earned it. But here's the brutal truth. The more you give in to lifestyle inflation, the more you trade your freedom for fleeting pleasures. You work harder, longer, just to maintain the illusion of success. You become a slave to appearances, a prisoner in a gilded cage. Stop. Step back. Ask yourself, who are you really trying to impress? The strangers who scroll past your photos? The people who won't be there when the bills pile up or when the markets crash? You don't owe them anything, but you owe yourself everything. Living below your means is not a sacrifice. It's a weapon. A weapon that cuts through the noise and builds a fortress of security, of opportunity, of true freedom. Every dollar you don't spend on frivolity is a brick in that fortress. Every unnecessary expense you deny is another step closer to a life where you call the shots. Not your bills, not your debts, not the expectations of others. Frugality is not weakness. It is strength. It is defiance. It is saying, I will not be a pawn in their game. I will not let them dictate what success looks like for me. You don't need the latest gadgets. You don't need the biggest house or the trendiest clothes. What you need is control. Control over your finances. Control over your desires. Control over your life. Understand this. The wealthiest people in the world didn't get there by spending every dime they earned. They got there by saving, by investing, by living far below their means while they built their empires. They weren't chasing short-term gratification. They were playing the long game. And that's the game you must play if you want to win. It's not easy. It never is. The world will tempt you at every turn. They will dangle luxuries in front of you, trying to pull you back into the cycle of consumption. But you must resist. You must stay focused. Because while they're busy buying things they don't need to impress people they don't care about, you're building a legacy. You're creating a life of abundance, not just for today, but for decades to come. So the next time you're tempted to splurge, remember this. Every dollar you spend is a choice. A choice to stay where you are, or a choice to move closer to freedom. Wealth is not measured by what you own, but by what you control. And the ultimate control is knowing when to say no. Live below your means, not out of fear, but out of power. Not because you can't have more, but because you're choosing better. A better future, a better life, a better you. The road is not glamorous, but it is worth it. The discipline is not easy, but it is necessary. And when you reach the end, when you stand atop the mountain of true financial independence, you will look back and realize that every sacrifice, every moment of restraint, was a brick in the foundation of your success. So step off the treadmill. Reject the illusion. Build your fortress. And live, truly live, below your means. Because that is where real power begins. That is where freedom is found. And that is how you win. Lesson 2. The slow burn to freedom. The world wants you to believe in shortcuts. They dangle promises of overnight success, of riches that materialize in the blink of an eye, of fortunes that fall into your lap without effort. They want you to chase illusions, lottery tickets, get-rich-quick schemes, the facade of wealth wrapped in credit card debt and leased luxury cars. They want you distracted, impatient, and gullible, because while you're chasing illusions, they're building empires. But the truth is brutal. The truth is unsexy. The truth is this: wealth is not built in a day, a week, or a year. It is built over a lifetime. Slowly, methodically, one disciplined decision at a time. It's a grind. A long, thankless grind that most people will never endure. Why? Because patience is painful. Discipline is lonely. Consistency is boring. And in a world obsessed with instant gratification, most will choose the fleeting high over the enduring reward. Most will choose to look rich rather than be rich. But you are not most people. Wealth is not about the flashy car parked in your driveway. It is not about the square footage of your home or the logo on your clothes. Those things are a trap, an illusion designed to keep you in chains. True wealth isn't loud. It isn't flashy. It doesn't beg for attention. True wealth is quiet. It's the peace of knowing you don't answer to anyone. It's the power of walking away from anything or anyone that no longer serves you. It's the freedom to live life on your terms, not the terms dictated by a paycheck or debt. Do you want to know the secret to building wealth? It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's a game of time. It's about planting seeds, small, deliberate actions every single day, and nurturing them with patience and consistency. Those seeds are your savings, your investments, your sacrifices. They don't sprout overnight, and they won't win you applause in the short term. But given time, they will grow into a forest so vast, so unshakable, that nothing and no one can take it from you. The path to financial independence demands sacrifices that most people aren't willing to make. While others are busy spending their money on status symbols, you must save yours. While they chase the high of instant gratification, you must endure the slow burn of delayed rewards. And while they live for today, You must prepare for tomorrow. This is not easy. It requires you to endure criticism. People will scoff at your choices, mock your frugality, and question your priorities. Let them. Their opinions won't matter when they're drowning in debt and you're standing tall, unshackled, untouchable. Building wealth is not about brilliance. It's not about luck. It's about discipline. It's about making hard decisions today so you can live a life of ease tomorrow. Every dollar you save, every wise investment you make, is a brick in the fortress of your financial independence. And every time you resist the temptation to splurge on things that don't matter, you tighten the chains of your own freedom. But make no mistake, this journey is not for the weak. It will test you. It will demand sacrifices that will make you question whether it's worth it. The answer is simple. It is. Because the alternative is living a life tethered to mediocrity, forever at the mercy of someone else's control. The alternative is slavery. Slavery to debt, to employers, to the expectations of a society that doesn't care about your well-being. So I ask you, are you willing to endure? Are you willing to plant the seeds today, knowing you may not reap the rewards for years, even decades? Are you willing to embrace the grind, the boredom, the loneliness that comes with walking this path? Because those who are not willing will forever remain trapped in the cycle of consumption, trading their time and freedom for things that lose their value the moment they are purchased. You must play the long game. You must see beyond the next paycheck, the next month, the next year. You must see the big picture. A life of true freedom. A life where you are beholden to no one. A life where you own your time, your choices, and your destiny. Wealth is not built in a moment. It is built in the quiet hours, the unnoticed sacrifices, the disciplined acts that no one applauds. It is built with patience, with persistence, with the unyielding belief that your future is worth more than the fleeting pleasures of the present. So stay the course. Endure the grind. Ignore the noise of a world obsessed with appearances. And when the years pass and the seeds you've planted grow into an unshakable legacy, you will look back and know that every sacrifice was worth it. Because you didn't just build wealth, you built freedom. You built power. You built a life that no one can take from you. And that, my friend, is the ultimate reward. Lesson 3, the power of control, budgeting and planning. Do you feel it? That gnawing sense of chaos when money slips through your fingers without a trace. That suffocating weight of not knowing where your hard-earned dollars disappear to. Most people live this way, blind, reckless, and utterly out of control. They let their finances dictate their lives instead of the other way around. And do you know what happens to them? They lose. They lose their freedom. They lose their power. They lose everything. But you're not here to lose. You're here to take control. The wealthy aren't born into power. They build it, brick by brick, choice by choice, with discipline and precision. And at the foundation of their empire lies one unshakable truth. Budgeting and planning are not optional. They are essential. They are non-negotiable. They are the difference between a life of mastery and a life of mediocrity. Every dollar you earn is a tool, a weapon. And yet most people treat their money like water slipping through their hands, never pausing to ask, where is it going? What is it building? But the wealthy, they know. They track every cent. They assign every dollar a purpose. They don't spend blindly, hoping for the best. They plan, meticulously, ruthlessly, knowing that every financial decision is either a step toward freedom or a step toward ruin. Let me tell you the truth that no one wants to admit. If you don't control your money will control you. And if you think living on a budget is restrictive, think again. It is not a prison. It is a blueprint. A budget doesn't limit your life. It builds it. It lays the foundation for something bigger, something stronger, something unshakable. It forces you to confront your priorities, to align your spending with your goals, to cut out the distractions that keep you stuck in mediocrity. And that's the real challenge, isn't it? Facing yourself, facing your habits, your impulses, your weaknesses. It's easy to swipe a card without thinking, to indulge in the fleeting pleasure of an unnecessary purchase. But that's the behavior of someone who has already surrendered, someone who has chosen short-term gratification over long-term power. You're better than that. You have goals, don't you? Big ones. Dreams that demand more than a careless approach to money. Dreams that require strategy, discipline, and unrelenting focus. Because here's the truth. Wealth is not a product of luck. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. And keeping it requires planning. It requires foresight. It requires a budget that keeps you accountable and aligned with your long-term vision. The wealthy understand this. They don't spend impulsively. They spend intentionally. They know where every dollar is going because they've planned it that way. They've created a system, a strategy, a roadmap that turns every penny into progress. While the masses drown in debt, chasing the illusion of success, the wealthy quietly build their empires, brick by brick, day by day. But let me warn you, budgeting is not glamorous. It's not flashy. It won't earn you praise from those who live for the moment. It requires sacrifice, patience, and the courage to say no when everyone else is saying yes. It's about seeing the bigger picture, playing the long game, and knowing that every disciplined choice you make today is a seed planted for tomorrow's abundance. This is not for the weak. It's not for those who crave comfort over control. It's for those who understand that true freedom demands discipline. It's for those who are willing to delay gratification, to endure the discomfort of saying no to the present so they can say yes to the future. You have a choice to make. You can live like everyone else, carelessly, recklessly, hoping for a miracle while your finances spiral out of control. Or you can take the reins. You can create a plan. You can build a budget. You can track every dollar and assign it a purpose. Because the path to wealth is not paved with luck or chance. It's paved with discipline, with intentionality, with relentless planning. So ask yourself, are you willing to do what most people won't? Are you willing to confront the uncomfortable truths about your spending habits? Are you willing to create a plan, to stick to it, to hold yourself accountable? Because if you are, then you're already miles ahead of the masses. You are already on the path to freedom, to power, to true wealth. Remember this, your money is either a tool or a trap. A tool to build your dreams, or a trap to enslave you in debt and mediocrity. The choice is yours. Take control, create your budget, plan your future. And when the world marvels at your success, you'll know it wasn't luck. It was strategy. It was discipline. It was the power of living with intention. So take the first step. Start today. Because wealth isn't waiting for you to stumble upon it. It's waiting for you to build it. And the blueprint is in your hands. Lesson 4. The price of freedom. Self-discipline and sacrifice. What are you willing to give up for the life you claim you want? What are you prepared to endure to build a legacy that cannot be shaken? These are the questions you must confront. Because the road to wealth is not paved with comfort, convenience, or indulgence. It is carved with blood, sweat, and the ruthless discipline to forego today's pleasures for tomorrow's freedom. Here's the truth. The wealthy did not stumble into fortune. They didn't inherit discipline or luck their way to financial independence. They made sacrifices, Painful, grueling sacrifices that most people are too weak to even consider. While the masses were chasing fleeting highs, the wealthy were building. While others spent their time and money on distractions, the wealthy were investing in their future. And while most sought comfort, they embraced discomfort, knowing that nothing worthwhile comes easy. This is the harsh reality that no one wants to hear. Wealth demands discipline. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you delay gratification while everyone else is indulging. It demands that you wake up every day with your eyes fixed on the long-term goal, even when the world tempts you with shortcuts and distractions. The path to wealth is a lonely one, because discipline is not glamorous. Sacrifice is not celebrated. No one will applaud you for saying no to a night out, for driving the same car for another year, for skipping the unnecessary luxuries that others crave. No one will cheer for you when you save instead of spend, invest instead of splurge, and endure instead of escape. But one day, they'll see what you've built, and they'll call you lucky. Lucky? No. They'll never understand the discipline it took to get there, the sacrifices you made, and the temptations you overcame. But let me warn you, this journey is not for the faint of heart. Sacrifice is painful. It will test your resolve. You will question yourself, your choices, and whether it's worth it. You'll watch others around you indulge in the comforts and pleasures of life, while you grind in the shadows. You'll feel the sting of isolation as you make decisions that set you apart from the crowd. But remember this, the crowd is broke. The crowd is trapped. The crowd is living for the moment while sacrificing their future. Do you want to be like them, or do you want more? Discipline is the weapon that separates the wealthy from the rest. It is the ability to silence the voice in your head that begs for indulgence, that craves comfort, that whispers, just this once. Discipline doesn't negotiate with weakness. It doesn't make excuses. It doesn't waver. It is a relentless force that pushes you to make the hard choices, the smart choices, the choices that align with your goals, even when it hurts. Sacrifice is the price of greatness. You cannot have it all. Not now. You must give up something to gain something greater. You must choose between the instant gratification that will fade as quickly as it came, and the enduring rewards that will define your life. And let me tell you, the rewards of sacrifice are far greater than the fleeting pleasures you forgo. Because while others spend their lives chasing, you will spend yours owning. While others remain enslaved to their impulses, you will stand free, powerful, untouchable. Every moment of discipline is a brick in the foundation of your empire. Every sacrifice is a step closer to the freedom they'll never taste. When they're drowning in debt, you'll be thriving in wealth. When they're bound to a life of mediocrity, you'll be living on your terms. This is the power of self-discipline. This is the reward of sacrifice. So ask yourself, what are you willing to give up? What comforts are you willing to deny yourself? What pleasures are you willing to delay? Because the road to wealth is not about what you take. It's about what you're willing to leave behind. It's about saying no to today so you can say yes to tomorrow. It's about enduring the grind, the pain, the loneliness, and the temptation, knowing that every sacrifice is an investment in the life you've always dreamed of. Remember this, no one who ever achieved greatness did so without discipline. No one who ever built an empire did so without sacrifice. And no one who ever reached the summit of success did so by indulging in every whim and desire. Discipline, sacrifice. These are your weapons. Use them ruthlessly, because the life you want is out there, waiting for you. But it won't come easy, and it won't come cheap. It demands that you bleed now so you can thrive later. It demands that you endure now so you can live free later. And it demands that you sacrifice now so you can own your future. This is the price of wealth. This is the price of freedom. And if you're willing to pay it, then nothing and no one can stop you. Lesson 5. The forge of self-made wealth. They'll tell you that wealth is handed down, that the rich are born into privilege, sitting atop mountains of money they didn't earn. They'll tell you the game is rigged, that it's pointless to fight, that you'll never reach the top unless someone lifts you there. These are the lies of the defeated, the excuses of the envious, the stories of those who would rather justify their stagnation than face the cold truth. The truth is this: most millionaires are self-made. They weren't handed a silver spoon. They forged their own. They weren't born into empires. They built them brick by brutal brick. And that's what the world doesn't want you to know. That wealth isn't something you inherit. It's something you create. It's easy to look at someone successful and assume they had it all handed to them. It's easier to believe they were lucky, to dismiss their achievements as privilege, than it is to confront your own complacency. But, for most of the wealthy, luck had nothing to do with it. What built their fortunes wasn't a trust fund or a last name. It was grit. It was relentless work. It was sacrifice, discipline, and an unyielding refusal to settle for less. Self-made wealth is born in the fires of adversity. It's forged in sleepless nights and relentless days. It's the product of thousands of decisions, small, hard, often thankless decisions that compound over time. While others were wasting their lives chasing quick fixes and fleeting pleasures, the self-made were grinding in silence, building their empires in the shadows. Don't get it twisted. The path to wealth is not easy. It's not glamorous. It will demand everything you have and more. It will strip you of your comfort, test your resolve, and push you to the brink. But that's the point. That's what makes self-made wealth so powerful. Because when you earn it, when you've clawed your way to the top, you know no one can take it from you. It's yours. Every dollar, every investment, every success. Because you fought for it. You bled for it. You built it. Do you know what inherited wealth breeds? Weakness, complacency, dependency. Inheritance is a crutch for those who lack the hunger to create their own path. It's a soft pillow that lulls them into mediocrity, stripping them of the drive, the resilience, the fire that comes with building something from nothing. But you don't need a crutch. You don't need someone else's legacy. You're here to build your own. Self-made wealth isn't just about money. It's about power. Power over your circumstances. Power over your destiny. Power to create a life that's truly yours. It's about proving to yourself and to the world that you don't need a handout or a head start. You need nothing but your will, your mind, and your willingness to endure. Most people will never understand the satisfaction of self-made success. They'll never feel the pride of knowing every inch of their wealth was earned, not given. They'll never experience the unshakable confidence that comes from surviving the grind and coming out on top. That's not their reality, but it can be yours. So stop waiting for a miracle. Stop blaming the system, your circumstances, or your lack of inheritance. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. If you want wealth, if you want freedom, if you want power, you're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to sacrifice, to suffer, to endure, and you're going to have to do it alone. But when you make it, and you will make it, if you refuse to quit, no one will ever be able to take it from you. Your wealth will not be a gift. It will be a monument, a testament to your work, your perseverance, and your unrelenting drive. Self-made wealth is rare because it's hard. It's rare because it requires more than most people are willing to give. But you're not most people. You're not here to settle. You're here to rise. You're here to prove that greatness isn't inherited, it's earned. So stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the world to hand you what you want. Start building. Start grinding. Start creating a legacy that no one can take away. Because in the end, the only wealth worth having is the wealth you build yourself. And when you've built it, you'll understand. It's not just wealth, it's freedom, it's power, it's victory, and it's yours. Lesson 6. The power of choosing the right battlefield. They sold you a dream, didn't they? A vision of wealth wrapped in glamour, fame, and adoration. They told you success was about flashy careers and fancy titles. They told you wealth was reserved for those who lived in the spotlight, who were seen, envied, admired. But what they didn't tell you is this: the spotlight blinds you. It keeps you chasing applause instead of chasing power. If you want to build real wealth, stop chasing the glamorous. Stop chasing careers that make you look rich, but keep you poor. True wealth isn't found in the dazzle, it's found in the grind. In the professions that are stable, consistent, and overlooked. Millionaires aren't made in the glitz of Hollywood or the lights of the stage. They're forged in the offices of small businesses, the quiet grind of entrepreneurship, the calculated strategy of professions that prioritize control over vanity. Do you want to know why entrepreneurs and small business owners so often rise to wealth? It's because they've chosen the battlefield where they make the rules. They don't answer to a boss. They don't wait for a raise. They create their income, they control their expenses, and they understand the fundamental truth that most people ignore. The key to wealth is not how much you earn, but how much you keep, and how wisely you invest it. The masses chase careers for prestige, for approval, for the illusion of success. They want the title, the status, the validation of being admired. But the wealthy, they don't care about appearances. They care about outcomes. They care about freedom. They don't need a glamorous title to feel powerful because their power comes from what they own, what they control, what they've built. It's not about looking successful. It's about being successful. And being successful means choosing a path that gives you stability, autonomy, and the ability to grow. It means saying no to the temptation of quick wins and chasing long-term results instead. It means choosing a career or business that doesn't just pay your bills, but builds your future. But don't mistake this path for an easy one. Entrepreneurship is not glamorous. Running a small business is not for the faint of heart. It's a battlefield where every decision matters, where every mistake costs you, and where the stakes are higher than most people can handle. But it's also a battlefield where you hold the sword. You make the moves. You decide how far you'll go, how hard you'll fight, how much you'll risk. And when you succeed, the rewards are not just financial, they're personal. Because you'll know you earned every dollar, every victory, every inch of freedom. If entrepreneurship isn't your calling, that's fine. Not everyone is built for it. But the principle remains the same. Choose the right occupation. Not the glamorous one, not the one that impresses your friends or satisfies your ego, but the one that provides stability, opportunity, and control. The one that allows you to save, invest, and build. The one that aligns with your vision of freedom, not society's vision of success. It's not about the job title. It's not about the paycheck. It's about the strategy. The wealthy don't stumble into success. They plan for it. They choose paths that maximize their potential, that give them leverage, that allow them to turn effort into exponential results. They don't waste time climbing ladders someone else built. They build their own. So stop asking yourself what will make you look successful. Start asking yourself what will make you free. Stop chasing validation and start chasing control. Because at the end of the day, wealth is not about impressing others. It's about owning your time, your choices, your life. Choose your battlefield wisely. Whether it's as an entrepreneur, a small business owner, or in a steady strategic profession, make sure the path you choose leads to freedom, not just a paycheck. Make sure it aligns with your long-term goals, your vision, your purpose, and make sure it puts you in a position of power, not dependence. The world will tempt you with glamour, but glamour fades. The world will tempt you with prestige, but prestige is hollow. Choose the path that builds, the path that empowers, the path that leads to something real. Because real wealth isn't about the spotlight. It's about what happens in the shadows, in the grind, in the relentless pursuit of something bigger than yourself. And when you've chosen that path, when you've stepped onto the right battlefield, don't hold back. Fight like hell. Build like no one else is willing to build. And when the dust settles, you'll stand tall, not because of a title or applause, but because you've created something that cannot be taken away. You've created wealth. You've created freedom. You've created a life worth living. And that, my friend, is worth more than all the glamour in the world. Lesson 7: the ruthless allocation of time, energy, and money. Time, energy, money. These are your weapons, the only resources you truly own. The question is, do you wield them like a master or waste them like a fool? Most people squander their time scrolling through distractions, their energy chasing fleeting pleasures, and their money on things that lose value the moment they're bought. They live lives of quiet mediocrity, wondering why wealth, success, and power remain out of reach. But the truth is brutal. It's not out of reach. It's out of alignment. They mismanage their resources, throwing them into the void of instant gratification, and then wonder why they're left with nothing. But the wealthy? They think differently. They don't see time, energy, and money as separate. They see them as interconnected. They see them as tools to be mastered, to be leveraged, to be multiplied. They don't waste time. They invest it. They don't squander energy. They focus it. They don't frivolously spend money. They allocate it with precision, planting it where it will grow. Time is your most precious resource. It's slipping through your fingers every second, and once it's gone forever. Millionaires know this. That's why they don't waste it. They don't spend hours binge-watching, mindlessly scrolling, or engaging in pointless distractions. They use their time like a weapon, cutting through the noise to focus on what matters. Researching, planning, strategizing. They study the markets. They analyze opportunities. They craft plans that stretch years, even decades, into the future. They know that every hour wasted is an hour stolen from their future. And so, they guard their time with ruthless discipline. Energy is your fuel. It's finite. And once you burn it on trivial pursuits, it's gone for the day. The wealthy don't waste their energy on things that don't matter. They don't drain themselves worrying about things outside their control. They don't spend their energy pleasing people who don't matter, or chasing approval that won't last. They channel their energy into creation, into learning, into building systems that work for them long after their energy has been spent. They focus their fuel on the activities that yield the greatest return, knowing that efficiency isn't optional, it's essential. Money is a multiplier, but only if you use it wisely. Most people throw their money away on liabilities, luxuries, and short-term pleasures. They buy things that make them look rich while ensuring they stay poor. But millionaires? They plant every dollar like a seed. They don't ask, what can this money buy me today? They ask, what can this money grow into tomorrow? They don't spend, they invest. Every purchase, every decision is made with one question in mind. Does this move me closer to freedom or further away? The wealthy allocate these three resources, time, energy, and money, with surgical precision. They know that every choice matters. Every second wasted Every ounce of energy misplaced, every dollar spent unwisely, it all adds up. And the consequences? The difference between a life of power and a life of regret. But let me be clear, this isn't easy. It requires brutal honesty with yourself. It requires looking at how you spend your time, how you burn your energy, how you handle your money, and admitting where you're falling short. It requires cutting out the distractions, the excuses, the temptations that pull you away from your goals. It requires sacrifice, discipline, focus. Most people can't handle this kind of accountability. They'd rather drift through life, hoping for the best, blaming the system, blaming their circumstances, blaming everyone but themselves. But you're not most people. You're here because you want more, because you're ready to take control, because you understand that mastery of time, energy, and money is mastery of life itself. So ask yourself, how are you spending your time? Are you wasting it, or are you investing it? Are you using it to plan, to research, to create? Or are you letting it slip through your fingers, lost to the endless cycle of distractions? How are you using your energy? Are you focused, disciplined, relentless? Or are you scattered, drained, and defeated before the day even begins? And what about your money? Is it working for you? Growing for you? Or is it working against you, buying you temporary comfort while robbing you of long-term freedom? Every decision you make is either a step toward greatness or a step toward mediocrity. The choice is yours. Allocate your resources wisely. Treat your time like the finite treasure it is. Channel your energy into pursuits that build, that create, that move the needle. And use your money not to impress others, but to create a future where you answer to no one. This is the path to wealth. It is not easy. It is not glamorous. But it is yours to walk if you have the discipline to take it. Time, energy, money. These are your tools, your weapons, your keys to the life you want. Use them wisely, because once they're gone forever. And the only thing worse than wasting them is realizing too late that you did. So choose now. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose strategy over chaos. Choose freedom over mediocrity. Master your resources, and you will master your life. And when the rest of the world looks at you in envy, calling you lucky, you'll know the truth. It wasn't luck. It was control. It was focus. It was your unrelenting dedication to wielding time, energy, and money as the weapons they were always meant to be. The battlefield is yours. Fight wisely. Lesson 8. The power of financial independence. Your path to absolute freedom. There's a hard truth that no one wants to admit. As long as you rely on someone else, an employer, a spouse, a government, or even blind luck, you are not free. Dependency is a leash, and no matter how long it is, it still keeps you bound. It keeps you kneeling before someone else's power, someone else's control, someone else's whims. But freedom, true freedom, that belongs to those who take it. That belongs to those who understand the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you independence. If you want it, you must build it. If you want to be free, you must claim it with your own hands. And that starts with one thing: financial independence. Millionaires don't rely on others. They don't wait for support. They don't hope for handouts. And they don't place their futures in the hands of anyone else. They understand that financial independence is not just a goal, it's a necessity. It's the foundation of power, the bedrock of freedom, the ultimate form of control over your own life. But make no mistake, financial independence is not given. It's earned. It's earned through relentless discipline, unshakable focus, and a ruthless prioritization of what matters most. The wealthy don't waste their money on liabilities, on things that rust, depreciate, or fade away with time. They don't buy the illusion of wealth. They invest in the reality of it. They put their money into appreciating assets, stocks, real estate, businesses, investments that grow, multiply, and work for them while they sleep. You see, the masses chase fleeting pleasures. They spend their paychecks on shiny distractions that lose value the moment they leave the store. They sacrifice their future for the dopamine rush of the present. But millionaires, they don't chase. They build. They build portfolios, not closets. They buy freedom, not fleeting validation. They invest in assets, not liabilities, because they understand one simple truth. Every dollar you spend is either a tool for your independence or a nail in the coffin of your freedom. Achieving financial independence isn't about being rich. It's about being untouchable. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, whether the markets crash, the economy falters, or the world falls apart, you are secure. You are unshaken. You answer to no one. But let's be clear. This path is not for the weak. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you delay gratification, that you endure discomfort, that you say no to the things everyone else is saying yes to. While others are spending, you'll be saving. While they're indulging, you'll be investing. While they're living for today, you'll be building for tomorrow. And they'll mock you for it. They'll call you cheap, boring, extreme. Let them. Let them laugh while they chain themselves to debt, while they mortgage their futures for the fleeting pleasures of the present. Because one day, when the weight of their choices comes crashing down, you'll be standing tall, unshackled, unstoppable, free. This is the price of independence. Discipline, sacrifice, relentless focus. But the rewards are infinite. Because financial independence isn't just about money. It's about power. Power over your time. Power over your choices. Power over your life. It's about waking up every day knowing you don't need anyone else to survive. Knowing you are the master of your own fate. So I ask you, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to make the sacrifices, to endure the grind, to play the long game while everyone else chases short-term highs? Because if you are, then nothing can stop you. The path to financial independence is not easy, but it is simple. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference, and let time do the rest. Every dollar you save is a step closer to freedom. Every investment you make is a weapon against dependency. Every sacrifice you endure is a brick in the fortress of your independence. And every time you say no to a liability, you're saying yes to a future where you answer to no one. This is your life, your time, your power. Don't waste it waiting for someone else to save you. Don't squander it chasing things that fade, depreciate, or lose value. Build something that lasts. Invest in your independence. Fight for your freedom. Because at the end of the day, no one cares more about your future than you do, and no one will fight for it harder than you can. The choice is yours, dependence or freedom, mediocrity or mastery, illusion or reality. Choose wisely, because the life you want is not given, it's taken, it's built, and it's waiting for you on the other side of financial independence. Now go. Build your empire, claim your freedom, and never, ever look back. Lesson 9. Raise warriors, not dependents. You think you're helping them, don't you? Giving them everything you didn't have, shielding them from the struggles that shaped you. You think you're paving their way to an easier life by handing them what they want, by cushioning their fall, by sparing them the sting of hard lessons. But here's the truth, the dark, unspoken truth. Every handout, every bailout, every indulgence weakens them. Every time you shield them from reality, you rob them of the strength they need to stand on their own. If you truly love your children, you won't coddle them. You'll prepare them. You'll arm them with the one weapon they'll need to conquer this brutal world: discipline. Millionaires don't raise entitled heirs. They raise warriors. They don't enable dependency. They forge independence. They understand that the true measure of success isn't in how much they leave behind, but in how capable they make those they leave behind. They know that wealth without discipline is a curse, not a gift. Do you want to know what destroys families? What dismantles legacies? It's not poverty. It's privilege without purpose. It's children who inherit wealth they didn't earn, who squander resources they didn't create, who drift through life expecting the world to give them what their parents gave them. That's not love. That's sabotage. If you want your children to thrive, stop giving them fish. Teach them to hunt. Teach them to save. Teach them to work. Instill in them the values that built your success: hard work, sacrifice, perseverance. Teach them the harsh reality that nothing worth having comes easy, that wealth is not a gift, but a reward, that independence is earned, not inherited. Show them the power of self-sufficiency. Teach them how to budget, how to save, how to invest. Teach them that money is not a toy, it's a tool, a weapon, a resource that, if wielded wisely, can create freedom. But if wasted, it becomes a shackle. Let them fail. Let them struggle. Let them feel the weight of their choices. It will hurt, yes, but it will teach them lessons that no amount of money can buy. Let them earn their way, even when you could make it easier. Because in the end, it's not your wealth that will save them. It's their character, their discipline, their ability to navigate a world that doesn't care about their last name or their inheritance. And don't just teach them with words. Teach them with your actions. Show them what discipline looks like. Let them see you work, save, invest, and build. Let them see you say no to things you could easily afford because you have a bigger vision in mind. Let them see that wealth isn't about how much you spend. It's about how much you grow, how much you control, how much you create. This isn't just about money. It's about life. It's about giving them the tools to stand tall when the storms come, to thrive in a world that will not hand them anything for free. It's about teaching them to fight their own battles, to solve their own problems, to build their own empires. And yes, it's hard. It's hard to watch them struggle when you could step in. It's hard to say no when you could say yes. But remember this: every time you deny them a shortcut, you give them a chance to grow stronger. Every time you let them face the consequences of their actions, you prepare them for a world that will not forgive weakness. Every time you choose discipline over indulgence, you arm them with the skills they'll need to survive and thrive without you. This is your responsibility. Not to make their lives easy, but to make them capable. Not to shield them from pain, but to teach them how to endure it. Not to leave them a fortune, but to leave them a foundation. A foundation built on discipline, independence, and the values that create true, lasting wealth. So stop spoiling them. Stop rescuing them. Stop letting guilt, fear, or misplaced love turn your children into dependents instead of warriors. Teach them the power of hard work. Teach them the value of money. Teach them the importance of discipline. And when the day comes that you're no longer here to guide them, they won't just survive. They'll rise. They'll thrive. They'll carry your legacy forward not because you handed it to them, but because you taught them how to build it. This is your ultimate gift to them. Not wealth, but wisdom. Not comfort, but capability. Not a crutch, but wings. Raise warriors, not dependents. Teach them discipline. Teach them independence. Teach them to fight for their own future. And when they succeed, they won't just thank you for what you gave them. They'll thank you for what you taught them. That is true wealth. That is true love. And that is the legacy you leave behind. Lesson 10. The art of the wise investor. Building an empire, not chasing a fantasy. The world is full of fools chasing illusions. Gamblers who mistake luck for strategy. Dreamers who confuse risk with opportunity. They sprint after speculative ventures, seduced by promises of quick returns and easy wealth, only to fall into the abyss of their own recklessness. And when they lose everything, they call it bad luck. But the truth is, it wasn't luck that failed them. It was their own foolishness. The wealthy don't gamble with their future. They don't roll the dice on pipe dreams or stake their fortune on fleeting trends. They play a different game, a game of patience, discipline, and relentless calculation. While the masses chase fantasies, millionaires build empires brick by brick, dollar by dollar, with investments that are as stable as the foundation they stand on. If you want to join them, if you want to rise above the chaos of speculation and short-term thinking, you must master one principle. Invest wisely. Wise investment is not about the thrill of the chase. It's not about gambling on the next big thing or riding the wave of hype. It's about discipline. It's about understanding that wealth isn't built in days or weeks. It's built over years, decades, lifetimes. Millionaires know this. They don't chase the quick kill. They focus on the long game. They invest in what endures, in what grows steadily, in what compounds quietly over time. The power of low-risk, long-term investments. The masses crave excitement. They want their investments to be thrilling, risky, volatile. But excitement is a poison. It blinds you to the cold, hard truth. Real wealth is boring. It grows in the shadows, slowly, steadily, imperceptibly. Millionaires understand this. That's why they focus on low-risk, long-term investments. Assets that weather the storms, that outlast the fads, that grow while others crumble. They don't chase the rush of speculative ventures. They don't throw their money into schemes they don't understand. They invest in what they know. Blue-chip stocks, real estate, index funds, businesses with proven track records. They understand that wealth isn't about chasing. It's about waiting. It's about planting seeds today and letting them grow into forests tomorrow. The weapon of diversification. The foolish put all their eggs in one basket. They pin their hopes on a single venture, a single stock, a single dream. And when it fails, and it often does, they're left with nothing. The wealthy don't make that mistake. They diversify. They spread their resources across multiple assets, industries, markets. They build portfolios that are resilient, that thrive in good times and survive in bad. They understand that diversification isn't just a strategy. It's a shield, a fortress that protects their wealth from the chaos of uncertainty. But let me warn you, diversification is not about scattering your money aimlessly. It's about strategy. It's about understanding the balance between growth and security, risk and reward. It's about creating a portfolio that works for you, that aligns with your goals, that builds your wealth while guarding it against destruction. The magic of compounding. Here's a truth the masses overlook. The most powerful force in wealth creation isn't luck or timing. It's compounding. It's the ability of your investments to grow exponentially over time, turning small, consistent contributions into massive fortunes. Millionaires understand this. That's why they start early. That's why they stay consistent. That's why they don't panic when the markets dip or chase trends when the markets rise. They know that compounding rewards patience, discipline, and time. Compounding doesn't care about your emotions. It doesn't care about your impulses. It rewards those who stay the course, who let their wealth grow undisturbed, who understand that every day their money stays invested, it works harder for them. It's not flashy. It's not exciting. But it's unstoppable. And it's the foundation of every great fortune. Lesson 11. The discipline of the wise investor. Investing wisely is not about intelligence. It's about discipline. It's about resisting the urge to chase quick wins and staying focused on the long-term vision. It's about knowing when to act, and more importantly, when to do nothing. It's about understanding that wealth is not built by making perfect decisions, but by avoiding catastrophic ones. So ask yourself, are you playing the long game? Or are you chasing fantasies? Are you planting seeds for a future harvest? Or are you gambling with your destiny? Are you building an empire? Or are you risking it all for the illusion of a shortcut? The choice is yours. You can follow the crowd, chasing trends and speculation, hoping for a miracle. Or you can rise above the noise, investing wisely, patiently, methodically, building a future that no one can take from you. The road to wealth is not easy, but it is simple. It requires discipline, strategy, and the courage to embrace the boring, the steady, the proven. Invest wisely, diversify, let compounding do its work. And when the world looks at your success and calls you lucky, you'll know the truth. It wasn't luck. It was patience. It was discipline. It was the relentless commitment to the art of the wise investor. Build your fortune brick by brick. Plant your seeds and let them grow. And when the rest of the world crumbles under the weight of their reckless decisions, you'll stand tall, unshaken, unstoppable. Wealthy not by chance, but by choice. The choice to invest wisely. The choice to master the game. The choice to win. Lesson 12. Invisible power. Breaking free from societal expectations. Look around you. Look at the world clinging to its illusions. The cars, the designer clothes, the oversized houses they can't afford, the endless scrolling, the staged photos, the desperate need to be seen. They've bought into the lie that wealth is a spectacle, a performance, something to flaunt and display for others to envy. But let me tell you the truth. A truth so sharp, it cuts through the noise. True wealth doesn't scream. True wealth whispers. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't shine for the masses. It doesn't need validation because it already holds power. If you want to be truly wealthy, truly powerful, you must learn one thing. Ignore societal expectations. The masses will tell you to spend, to show off, to prove to everyone how successful you are. They want you to play the game, to run on the hamster wheel of appearances, to live a life dictated by their shallow rules. Why? Because the system needs you to stay in the cycle. It needs you broke, dependent, enslaved to the need for approval. But millionaires, those who've truly mastered the game, they don't play by those rules. They live for themselves, not for the applause of the crowd. They reject the pressure to display wealth because they understand one fundamental truth. Real power is invisible. The man driving the beat-up car, wearing the plain clothes, living in the modest house, he may very well be richer than the one flaunting the Lamborghini and designer suits. Why? Because while one is drowning in debt, chasing fleeting validation, the other is building, saving, investing. While one is performing for the crowd, the other is accumulating quiet, unstoppable power. Do you want to know what the truly wealthy value? Freedom, independence, control. They don't care if their neighbors think they're rich. They care about owning their time, their choices, their lives. They care about living a life free from debt, free from the need to impress, free from the chains that society wraps around the weak. Challenge the illusion of wealth. Here's the harsh reality. Most people you think are wealthy are just good actors. They're not rich. They're drowning. Drowning in loans, in credit card debt, in the pressure to keep up with appearances. They wear their wealth on their sleeve because it's all they have. Scratch the surface, and you'll find insecurity, instability, and emptiness. But the truly wealthy, you won't even notice them. They walk among you unnoticed, invisible, because they don't need your approval. Their wealth isn't in what they wear or drive. It's in what they own. It's in their investments, their businesses, their assets. It's in the freedom to live life on their terms, without asking permission or seeking applause. Live for yourself, not for the crowd. To escape the trap of societal expectations, you must be willing to stand alone, to reject the need for validation, to live a life that prioritizes your goals over their opinions. This is not easy. The world will try to pull you back. It will tempt you with shiny things, with hollow praise, with the fleeting high of being admired. Resist it. Resist the urge to prove yourself to people who don't matter. Resist the pressure to spend on things that don't bring you closer to your goals. Resist the lies that tell you success is about what others can see. Success isn't about being seen. It's about being free. The power of the invisible. The wealthy know that the loudest person in the room is often the weakest. Real power doesn't announce itself. It moves in silence. It builds in the shadows. It doesn't need to be seen because it doesn't need validation. So stop chasing the spotlight. Stop living for the opinions of strangers. Stop playing the game that keeps you enslaved.